Businesses are using this content marketing strategy to get more views and attract more customers, and it is ridiculously easy. So in this video, I'll explain what this strategy is so you can use it to grow your audience. So the first thing you need to understand is what a content marketing strategy is, and the first bucket within that is what are you going to talk about? What are you going to say that's going to be valuable for your ideal viewers? And typically it falls into one or two buckets, education or entertainment, but at the end of the day, it has to be something valuable for them. It has to be something that they want to consume, whether it's reading it, watching it, listening to it. You have to identify what is the content that you're going to use to market yourself. Education content marketing is essentially exactly what it sounds like. You're teaching them something that they don't know that you happen to know because of your background, because of your experience, because of your business. So a good example would be if you have a mechanic shop, you could create content about how to change your oil. It's something you're very good at, and you can pass that information, that education, off to somebody else so they can benefit from it. Entertainment is exactly what it sounds like. They're not necessarily looking for new information or to grow in any particular skill, but they want to be entertained. They want to watch something, enjoy watching it, whether it's action-packed like a movie or it's funny like a comedy podcast. All of those are types of content that you can generate that are entertaining to people. Now, the sweet spot is what I like to call edutainment. That's where you're passing off information that's valuable for your viewers that also is entertaining. And a great example of this is Hank's channel, where he breaks down common questions out in the world and he brings a science background and a science expertise. There's this video recently, all these claims about do EVs emit more than gas cars, and he just breaks down in a really entertaining way what all these claims are, reading through these different studies, and if it wasn't fun to watch, it'd be really dry, but he brings his personality, he makes it fun to watch, and so you actually learn something about these studies about EVs, but you're enjoying it while you do it. The second thing to keep in mind is that every platform is a little bit different. That means you're gonna have to tailor the packaging or the wrapper around your content based on the platforms that you are focused on investing in and growing an audience on. For example, LinkedIn is going to be a much different strategy than YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. They all have their own unique culture, their own unique audience, and different reasons why people go there. People go on LinkedIn to network. People go on Instagram to pass the time while they're in between meetings or just hanging out on the couch. And so you have to keep in mind that when you're creating content for each of these platforms, you want it to feel native to each platform. You want it to feel like it truly belongs there. Just imagine that you are creating a video for TikTok. What's the best thing you can do? Record it on your phone. It's not going to be a professional camera like this because it's going to not fit into the vibe of what people expect when they go to TikTok. If you're posting something on LinkedIn, you want to create longer captions that actually tell story, that have good copywriting in them, because that's what people consume. That's what people like to read on LinkedIn. And on TikTok, they're not reading any kind of caption. And on Instagram, very similar. It's much more visual medium. There are certainly some types of channels that benefit from longer captions, but it's not the rule. And a really great example of somebody who does this exceptionally well is Alex Hormozi. Just to kind of illustrate this point, we're going to look at three different platforms that he's present on. The first one is YouTube. So this is his main channel for long form video content. So you can see he has lots of videos, but if you actually dig deep into these videos, you can see that it's a mix of different content styles. So he has one right here where it's just him talking behind a desk and he's just sharing his advice. There are some where he's in front of a whiteboard and he's explaining how different things work and writing out things as he talks about it. There are some that are repurposed from live events he's done where he's recorded on stage talking about something and he takes a clip from that to make a video. And so you can see there's a variety of different ways that he's capturing the content, but at the end of the day, these are 20, 30, 40, an hour-long pieces of content where he's educating people, doing so in a way that's authentic to him. And so if you love listening to him talk, you're going to enjoy watching these videos. And that's done really well for him. He has almost 2.65 million subscribers. And then if you look at his shorts, you'll see that they're clips taken out from those long-form videos. So you'll see the same desk that we were just looking at. Here's one of him on a podcast. He's repurposing pieces from long-form content to create short-form content and editing them with captions and cuts to make it feel consistent with the vibe that you typically get with YouTube Shorts and with TikTok. A lot of these videos also end up on his TikTok channel. But then if you go over to his LinkedIn, it's much more image heavy. You'll still see some of these video clips, but you'll see more pictures. You'll see more storytelling. You'll see pictures, screenshots from his Twitter account. And then if we go over to his Instagram account, you'll see he leans heavy into reels, heavy into video content. He has some meme style content like this picture right here, but it's mostly Instagram reels. He does have a carousel post here, which had quite a bit of engagement, so that worked well for him. Another meme post. These are all things that he's repackaging and repurposing with different styles and different captions based on the platform he's on to make sure it's going to be as successful as possible for that platform. And then the last principle that's really important to understand before we get into the nuts and bolts of actually executing a content marketing strategy for you and your business is you're going to have to be consistent. If you just post every once in a while, if you just create a video once in a blue moon or a carousel post because you felt like it on a Saturday, that's not going to ultimately lead to the type of results that show consistent audience growth. Everyone else in your space, all your competitors that are serious about building an audience online, you can bet they're consistent. They're consistently investing in each of these platforms, not only to accelerate their results because each post gets you one step closer to where you ultimately want to be, but because they've built a relationship with their audience. Their audience comes to expect content from them. Their audience expects to open their phone, to scroll their profile and see something new to consume. And once you've built that trust where your audience knows that you are going to show up for them, then that's where you can really gain momentum. It's not just people discovering you one time and then moving on, but really engaging with you and building a really entrenched and tight-knit relationship with an online audience that you can then leverage for building your business, building your profiles, whatever your goals are for your business. So if you can do those three things really well, you're going to be set up for success beyond just the initial getting started and figuring out the kinds of ideas of things you want to talk about. But speaking of ideas, how do you decide what you're going to talk about? What information, what education are you going to provide to make people's lives better, but specifically the people that you want to reach? If you have a business doing detailing on cars and you create content about taking care of cats, there's going to be a disconnect. That's not the type of audience that is valuable for you and your business. So we want to make sure that we're creating content that aligns with your ideal audience member. The first thing you have to do is just right off the bat, identify 3 to 5 topics that people are always asking you questions about. So if you're in marketing, for instance, what are the types of questions that come up when people start talking to you about marketing? Okay, well, what's up with Facebook ads? Is that still working? Is SEO still a thing? How is AI impacting the way that people are marketing and reaching audiences? Have you started a podcast yet? What's that been like? You'll quickly identify 3 to 5 topics that come up pretty quickly of, yeah, these are things that I could not only hear a lot about, but things that I could actually talk about at a high level and really bring something to my audience that would be valuable and unique. The second thing you can do is look at other people in your niche, in your industry, and see what they're doing. So if you're in marketing or sales, you can go to Alex Hormozi, see what kinds of things he's talking about as a jumping off point for things that you could potentially talk about. You don't want to just copy or rip off somebody else's strategy, but you want to figure out what's your version of that conversation. And so if we're talking about sales in the age of AI, what do you know that's different, that's unique? How do you bring your experience to the table to bring something new to the conversation to make people want to follow you, even if they're already following those other guys? And if there isn't a lot of content in your industry or niche, you can always go slightly adjacent to your niche. So if you're a chiropractor, but you're not seeing a lot of chiropractic type content online, go to massage therapy or physical therapy and see what those content creators are making as some jumping off points for ideas that you can have for creating content that's valuable. The cool thing about this is once you actually start putting things out there, you start posting, you start making videos, you start engaging with people online, your audience will tell you what they want. They will respond with engagement for the things that they enjoy watching or enjoy listening to, and they'll ignore or not engage with things that they aren't interested in. And so as you see which types of videos are getting more views or more traction or more engagement, that will be a really strong clue of the types of content that your audience is interested in hearing from. So what's the best piece of content to create if you're just getting started and you do want to have a holistic content marketing strategy for your business? In my opinion, it's a YouTube video. And here is why. A YouTube video captures a couple of things. One, it captures video and audio, just like this video that you're consuming right now. The other great thing about a YouTube video is, like with Alex Hormozi, you can repurpose smaller segments from a long piece of content into YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or TikTok. You can also take that same content, transcribe it into a written document, and now you have what you need to post on LinkedIn, to create Twitter threads. How do you do that? How do you take a long video and turn that into all these different pieces? Use a repurposing software. The one that I like to use is called Castmagic, because Castmagic allows me to put in a video file and spin out all these other types of content. And so if I pull up my Castmagic account and I look at a video that I created for YouTube, you can see that it has a full transcript of what my video was. And then if I go into AI content, it can take that video, use AI to then generate so many cool things that I can use and promote on other places. So number one, right here, we have an email newsletter that Castmagic just wrote for me based on the video. So if I'm building an email newsletter, now I have the content that I need from that long form video to send to people. I have show notes if I'm using the audio form for a podcast. If I want to write an intro to promote this YouTube video on another platform, here's an introduction there. Key topics and bullets. So if you're posting about it on LinkedIn or another place like Facebook that actually uses more text and captions or it's more valuable, here's my caption. Here's what I want to write. If I'm looking for those video clips that I can cut up into shorts or TikTok videos or Instagram Reels, here they are. Here are the best clips from my long form video that I can now use and repurpose in other places. If I want to write a LinkedIn post, here's a great example of a LinkedIn post. Castmagic and their AI platform created created all of these things. All I did was record a video and upload it. Here's another newsletter. Here's a Twitter thread if I want to start building a Twitter profile. And what's cool about this is not only do they have default prompts, default settings that you can utilize in order to repurpose your long form videos, you can also create custom prompts. So you can say, I want to do Facebook posts. Give me the top 5 takeaways for marketing professionals. And you can even say, here's a sample of a content that I've created in the past and save this. Now, every single time you run a video through this, it's also going to give you this asset. So it really makes repurposing so much easier because you're not having to do everything manually. You just record one long form video and then Castmagic gives you all these assets to be active on all these platforms without it taking 40 hours a week of your time. And so if I go to my own LinkedIn profile where you can see how I've used this Castmagic repurposed content, here's a quote that Castmagic pulled out from this interview episode that I did. So it doesn't even just have to be used solo. You can do Zoom recordings or use some kind of video capture software to have a conversation with another expert in your field and share that. Here's an image. Here's a carousel post breaking down 5 ways AI is revolutionizing creative industries. This is all content that Castmagic created, and then you're just repurposing it. You're using it, you're creating assets. So you don't have to do all of this manually yourself. You can use a platform like Castmagic to really make all of this really easy. And that's why I think this is the best content marketing strategy for 2024. If you want to try out the software that we reviewed together, Castmagic, and see how you can get hundreds of pieces of content from one long form YouTube video, there's a link in the description. You can go and you can try out the platform and see how well it will work for you. Now, if you want to dig a little bit deeper into this, we recently did a video breaking down Alex Hormozi's content marketing strategy and how he has used it to really catapult the size of his audience on all these different platforms in 2024. You can click here on the screen to watch that next. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you, and we'll see you in the next video.